Okay, so I wanted to go over a few basic options trades, and we'll start with the most basic that there is, and that's just single options and buying them, a debit coming out of your buying power. So let's start with just going over a few of the columns first. I'll show you how I set up my columns, and then I'll show you how it looks with a few trades on. Well, putting a few trades on. So I'm in paper trade mode, by the way, for this video. So the last price, where it says last here, that's the last price that this particular contract was sold for. And you got to be careful with this, because if it's not a heavily traded options contract, then that last price may not be from the most recent trading day. That last price could have been from days ago or even weeks ago if it's not a lot of people buying it. But anyway, the bid is the absolute highest that any buyer is willing to buy that strike price for. The ask is the lowest that a potential seller is willing to sell theirs for. So you'll see that the difference between these two, if you subtract 75.10 from 77.60, then you'll get 250, and that 250 number is considered the spread. So the closer the spread is, the more liquid a contract is. The more liquid a contract is, the more heavily traded it is. The tighter it is, the easier it's going to be for you to get in and out of a trade. And some of you seasoned traders probably already know that. But let's keep going. Probability out of the money and probability in the money. In the money for a call option means that the stock price is trading above your strike price. In the money for a put contract means that the stock price is trading below your strike price. So that tells you probability in the money, probability out of the money. If it's out for a call, it's down here. If it's out for a put, it's up here. And Thinkorswim separates it. Blue is in the money, and the black is out of the money. You see the shading. All right, let's keep going. Implied volatility. We know what implied volatility is. How much opportunity is there within each option contract? Percentage change is how much it's changed over time. Over the most recent trading day. That's the amount that the particular contract traded by. Open interest, that's how many people are currently holding it. Volume is basically how many exchanged hands that day. And you can see these aren't very liquid, but I think I picked a pretty high expiration, a pretty far expiration. Yeah, January 2022. Instead of going through the other columns, because the next part that I have is the Greeks. I'll cover the Greeks in another video, but right now let's get into buying a contract. If we wanted to buy a contract, then let's go to what the sellers are asking for it. That's the column that you pick, the ask. And then we'll put paper trade to spread. Remember, each options contract is worth 100 shares. You do 44 times 100, and that's where you get the $4,400 from, and it's a 65-cent charge for the commission. Go to confirm paper order. This is actually an unlimited profit trade because the calls benefit when the stock price goes up. The stock price could go to infinity. More than likely it won't, but the stock price could go to infinity, and that's what makes your maximum profit infinite. And that's why people tend to like buying calls. It has some really nice rewards if you play them correctly. Your maximum loss is what you pay for it. Remember, this is a debit. The max loss that you could incur is what you pay for it on a debit. We're only talking about debits on this particular trade. And because it will lose value every day just because of the fact that it's a coupon. It has an expiration date. As you get closer to expiration, it loses value. That's one of the Greeks that we'll get into later. Theta tells you that, though. Theta is the Greek that tells you that in the option space. So let's do the same thing for a put. Get out of that one. Let's click this one here for the put. Remember the asking price. $5,155.65 is how much this put costs. We want the stock price to go down or below because this is a buy. This is a debit. Our maximum profit is if Roku goes to zero, the most we'll make is $34,845. And that's because I'll tell you how they get this number. If 400 is our strike price, the most money that we could make is $40,000. 400,000. I mean, 400 multiplied by 100 equals 40,000. And 40,000, we're paying 5,155 for it. So 40,000 minus 5,155 will give you this number here, $34,845. And you can see the buying power effect, because remember, this is a debit. You buying something, that's how you end up with the maximum loss of what you paid for it. You know, this is the most that you could lose. You could not lose any more than this. You could not make any more than this. That's the difference between a call and a put. To put a trade on, this is simple. You just press review, confirm paper order, and send your paper order. Once you do that, you'd have the order on. So let's go to my my paper trade account. I forgot these even existed, but they're there. So let's pretend like we wanted to close this. If we wanted to close a trade, we'd select them. We'd select sell, confirm the paper order, send the paper order. Same exact thing. Same exact thing. So let's go ahead and cancel these. The market's closed anyway, and I believe the paper trade, they only work when the market is actually open. So that's pretty cool. You get to invest with the market real time. Something like this is cool to get used to your platform. If you want to get used to navigating through the menus, I recommend using your paper trade. You know, it may not feel quite the same as trading with your real money. You know, you might just trade willy-nilly with the money that your broker pretends to give you. You know, this paper money. This is like a simulation, but you know, it'll help you get used to the platform, even if you're not as cautious as you would be with your own funds. So I think this video is long enough. Remember, this is about debit trades. I showed you a few columns in here, but this is really about how it looks putting on a single debit trade. So buying a call or buying a put. Hope this helps somebody.